Do you think there is a huge unbalance in attraction level between men and women?
Yes, yes. As we spoke earlier, men just don't know how to trigger real attraction in terms of the neuro science in our brain in women. Men just don't know how to do that, while women just have it naturally by looking good. And that's a huge problem. I mean, how can it be balanced when professors all over the world and all communication experts and neuroscientists, people that they are doctors and professors in neuroscience, for example, when they see that, oh, men can trigger women neuroscientifically, I mean, how does it look? Is no way they're going to be balanced. So I think that many marriages, many relationships, as you said, 70 to 80% of marriages is women taking the initiative to break off. It might be the same thing with relationship, as you also mentioned in one of your clips before. When we're looking in that part, maybe it is that men comes in and feel full attraction for the woman because she's pretty, she's good looking, and she have a certain interest of him and a certain amount of attraction, but just a certain amount. And with the interaction they had together, it's not really there. It's not really sticky. So what happens then? Well, she felt a lot less attracted to the man than the opposite. And it's not because he'd only make $80,000 a year and another guy make 150. No, it's because he couldn't trigger the neurotransmitters that was linked to attraction. And here's the important part. You probably heard about the hormone and the neurotransmitter oxytocin. That is sort of the love hormone we used to speak about in the nice neuroscientific world. So oxytocin is a brain molecule, let's say molecule, a neurotransmitter that makes you feel love. So if you're a mother and you have a daughter, your oxytocin level is pretty high connected with that daughter because you're the mother, right? So you feel strong love towards your daughter. When it comes to romantic situation, that oxytocin, in order for it to be really strong, so you can feel strong feelings for a man, the attraction has to be there in the beginning, the initial attraction. Because if there is very little attraction, and specifically sexual attraction, there won't be any strong love in the end. Mm-hmm. And you know that by yourself. Everyone knows that. Yeah. We have to have that kind of spark, attraction spark in the beginning, enabled to evolve with the relationship. But if men can communicate in the way that gives the balance between the attraction neuroscientifically with men and women, between men and women, how can relationship be good then?
Yeah,
it's
so
very hard to find that.
You're saying if they don't learn the language basically to trigger it, then you'll never get there.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. You know, I had a woman on my show recently, and we were talking about how women will date men with no jobs, and the men with jobs are they're baffled at how these men with no jobs can get these women, but it's because the men with no jobs have all this time, so they learn the language of women, and they just learn to be charming. And then the men, the men that haven't learned the language and it's not black and white, obviously, but you guys get my point. They're like baffled. They're like, what are they doing? But the guys that get it, like they understand exactly what's going on. It's like they're charming.
Yeah. So basically, in attraction, it's much more how women feels being with that man than what she sees in him before she's being with him, if you get the point. The attraction is building up with time during interactions with that particular man. It's so many times, and you also, and all other women, there are so many women out there that in the beginning didn't like her boyfriend that much, but that particular boyfriend became her type in the end. Mm-hmm. So she learned. So those men, they have the language, and those men that have, even though they haven't been schooled, they have a certain element of it. So they could actually reach to a pretty high attractiveness level in those women. And many of those women said that, oh, he was not in my range before. No way. But once I start learning about him, I get more and more attracted, and he became my type. Mm-hmm. I've seen that so many times. So I'm a strong believer of really being able to trigger the attraction switches in women in the right way. I mean, I'm a scientist here in that sense. If the key was to jump on one leg, then I would say jump on one leg and she would be attracted to you. But that is not the case. Right. I'm looking at what is it that actually attracts women. This is it. This is what actually attracts women. And it's not something new, actually. It is relationship building communication, and that is called interpersonal communication. It's a difference between interpersonal communication, which involves a lot of relationship building and emotional connection, compared with normal communication skills, which is more focused on transaction of information in the right way. So we have to differ those two communication styles.